Our next guest is a blockchain and cryptocurrency thought leader. He's an advisor, internet marketing expert, serial entrepreneur, CEO of BitcoinHEX, and he has taken an active part in the Bitcoin scaling debate. He's also become known for his shockingly accurate Bitcoin price prediction exactly 1 year ago, pretty much exactly 1 month before the price went from 5,000 to 20,000, which this man predicted. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Hart.
Hey there, everybody. Unlike so many other of the great speakers, I don't have any slides. I just have me. I hope I'm good enough for you guys. I've got about 50,000 followers on Twitter, about 35,000 on YouTube, Telegram channel with 5,000 for general crypto chat, about 1,500 on trading. I've got a calls channel where if I see something in the market that people might be interested in, like, you know, who won the hash war and by the minute, you know, how much they were winning it by. Some people can make money on that stuff, right? So it's handy. I think a lot of crypto is about talking about how good the technology is and how it's going to change the world, but I don't think most people really give a shit. I think they want to make money. I think they buy a bag and they hope their bag goes up to a really high price. So when I tell you about things, you know, technology is fun to talk about, but I'm really, really concerned with the price. If you want to change the world and you want to replace the existing economic system with something better, you can only do it if that better thing has a lot of economic mass. And that means that a lot of people have to buy it and have to pay a high price for it, or else it doesn't work, right? So money is just an analog to represent scarce things like human time, goods, and services. If you want your analog to work properly, it also has to be scarce and valuable, just like the thing it's representing. That's the reason that stores of value are worth more than transporters of value. Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. It has failed entirely to be an adopted currency. No one pays tax in it. No one prices services in it. It's terrible for use in the darknet. If you ever pay for something in the darknet with it, it will forever taint every transaction that you perform afterwards once you get your change address back. It's not used in payroll. If you try and pay your employees with it, they have to, you take your fiat as a company, turn it into crypto, wait an hour for confirmations, pay the bid-ask spread, pay the fees, then send it to your employee if the network works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it fails silently. Monero, love them for private transactions, but when I would go to pay an employee in Monero and there was a network fork, I sent the transaction, came out of my wallet, guy never got it because the network had forked and it just failed silently. Download the new update, doesn't find the balance. Rescan the chain, doesn't find the balance. Download the whole chain again, takes 7 to 11 hours, employee's still not paid, right? Finally works, thank God. But if you're not a genius, it's not gonna work for you, right? And then you also have to wait 16 minutes to send your next employee transaction because you're waiting for your change from the last one. It's horrible. And then, when he finally gets his money, he gets to give it, wait for the confirmations at his exchange, which takes an hour or more, right? Sometimes it takes an hour to find a single block. You need multiple blocks to get your money confirmed on the exchange to sell it. So he finally sells it, he finally gets it to his bank shuts his account off because they don't like the transactions. It looks suspicious, right? So why would I pay bid-ask spread twice, once on the payment side, one on the receiver side, hours and hours of confirmation on both sides, sometimes it doesn't work at all, just to get his account turned off anyway. And then he's got to get a CPA to get signed letters to get his account opened again. It's horrible, and it always will be, and no amount of cryptography fixes that problem, right? As long as we live in a fiat world where people need to pay their rent, buy their food in fiat, that's unsolvable whether you choose one style of crypto or another style of crypto. It just doesn't matter. Now, what does crypto do well? Crypto stores value. It does better than store value. It appreciates, right? So some of you guys may have bought Bitcoin at, you know, I got in at $30. I used to mine them in 2011, full blocks on my own with no pool. It was very nice, right? 50 Bitcoin block reward was very nice, you know, to hold it, if you held it. A lot of guys that mined coins very early on, they didn't hold their coins, and then all the mad gains they would have had, they just didn't get. So if it's true that in the 10 years that Bitcoin has been doing peer-to-peer cryptocurrency transactions and it's had no adoption, at some point you have to realize maybe what the market is telling us is that this is a store of value. It should be listened to, right? Maybe we shouldn't be trying to hard fork it and force our ideals on it. Maybe we should listen to the market and realize that a store of value is more valuable than a payment network. So do we have stores of value in the real world? Yes, we do. We have gold. Gold's been around for thousands of years storing value. It's worth $7.7 trillion. How much are payment networks worth? Visa's worth $320 billion. MasterCard is worth about $212 billion. PayPal's worth about $102, $105 billion. Those three combined aren't worth 10% of what gold is worth, which is a great investment thesis. The other great thing about using cryptocurrencies as a store of value is you don't need high transaction throughput, right? Another funny thing about cryptocurrencies is how often do you really need to pay your friends for things? Very, very rarely. Most of our transactions with currency are to businesses or to, your landlord. You have to buy food, gas, rent. Very little of it is, I got to pay my friend Joe for what? Like, why? Why do I have to pay my friend Joe for anything? It's very not common. Thus, if it's true that cryptocurrencies are only adopted in mass, Clash of Clans has 100 million users a day. How many users have over $100 in Bitcoin? 5 million. Just 5 million Bitcoin addresses that have over $100 on them. Now, you could say there's lots of users hiding inside Coinbase's wallet and Binance's wallet, which, represent lots of users' interests. And that may be true, but it's still not hundreds of millions, right? If you add up everyone, it's still very small. So what I thought was, well, can you store value better than Bitcoin does? What does Bitcoin do? You can buy it, you can sell it, and you can transfer it, and that's it. Well, what if you want to earn money on your Bitcoin? What if you want to lend your Bitcoin out? Well, now you've got to give your Bitcoin to a trusted third party who's going to screw you or get hacked or not give you your funds for some reason, right? So for instance, there's exchanges where you can send your Bitcoin and lend them out to people to short the price. And there's a floating rate that changes on how much profit you can get from doing that. But every once in a while, those places get hacked, and then you don't get your money back. So if we have programmable money, well, what should be the first thing we program? Interest. So instead of giving your coins to a centralized third party to hope to make profit, you can just give your coins to the smart contract that minted them. And then the same contract that allowed the coins to exist in the first place is the same contract that will pay you your interest for locking your coins. So I invented it, and I've had it coded, and you can read it. It's open source. It's at github.com/BitcoinHEX. So instead of paying miners a inflation pool, which in Bitcoin right now is 4.17% to secure the network, you just basically freeload on another network that's already eating all those costs and burning all that energy and maintaining a network that does trustless transactions. So, all the problems Bitcoin Cash is having right now, being 51% attacked because they only have 6% hash rate compared to Bitcoin, it's very easy for anyone to turn off their Bitcoin hash rate and just throw it on Bcash and destroy it. Ethereum doesn't have that problem, right? So being a sub-token, an ERC20 token on Ethereum is more secure than launching your own chain and leaving yourself open to 51% attacks. So if you want to create a token that rewards holders for holding and pays people better and larger amounts for basically staking their coins and just not touching them and leaving them be, then Ethereum is a good platform to do that. And you don't need high transaction throughput. You don't need a lot of transactions per second. A lot of coins, we're going to have a panel up here where a lot of people represent tokens that pride themselves on having higher throughput. My question is, exactly why do you need that throughput? The blocks are empty, yo. We don't need more space. We need adoption, right? And most of the things that you need high throughput for, you can just abstract the trust part, put that in the chain, right? So I got about a minute and 30 seconds. I'll breeze through why I think you should claim your free tokens when you can, which is hopefully in about 2 months, depending on how the audit works out. Fork Bitcoin's UTXO set onto Ethereum. If you have a Bitcoin address and you can make statements from it, signatures from it, which any good wallet can, then you just sign your BHX address with your Bitcoin wallet and you get these free tokens, which are ERC20 tokens on Ethereum. If you don't claim in the first week, you lose 2% of your coins. If you don't claim by week 50, you have no coins left to claim. If Satoshi doesn't claim, he doesn't get his coins. All those coins get given to the people that did claim. So there's no freeloaders. There's no giving free money to Mt.Gox to dump on you. There's a whale penalty. If you claim and you've got 1,000 coins, you lose half of them. If you're smart, before the snapshot, you shard your wallet into little wallets that are under $9.99. But if people figure out this later and they're like, oh, well, I want to get it now that it's successful, not that I helped, I just want to dump on these guys that made it successful, well, it's too late. You've been penalized, you've lost your coins. If you claim first week, you get 10% bonus. If you refer someone, you get 5% bonus. If you stake your coins, you join the staker pool. It's got less inflation than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's 4.17%. BitcoinHEX is 3.69. If only 10% of coins stake, you're getting about 40% interest a year, just to lock your coins. If you lock longer, you get 20% more per year, which crowds out the smaller guys. So you get more shares, which means the guys that didn't stake for as long get paid less. But because so many people have locked up their coins, there's less on the market. So even though you're getting less interest rate, you're getting more market value because there's less coins available to sell. That's it. Go to BitcoinHEX.com, buy your crypto, stop trying to make a lot of transactions per second until you get at least one client that actually cares. That's all.